Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Coming Out Cosmic podcast. My name is Christine Nowinski, ET contactee and awakening coach, and founder of Coming Out Cosmic. This podcast is for those who love the strange and esoteric. We deep dive into aliens, reptilians, fairies, dragons, ghosts, psychic abilities, intuition, telepathy, anything that you can think of that is not categorized as normal. We go there. And the reason we do it is because you're not crazy. These things are not crazy. They're very normal. And it's just that we're all very cosmic in nature. So it's normal for us to be experiencing these things. On today's podcast episode, we enter the age-old argument of, are aliens demons? As always, we keep it high vibe on this podcast, so no need to fear. I have a lot of different perspectives on this topic. I will also share with you some of the perspectives on the other side of the argument, meaning that there are people for this argument that yes, aliens are demons, and then there's people who are like, no way, they are not demons at all. In full transparency, I totally believe that aliens are not demons, but I can understand why some people think that they are, and I will present that to you today in the episode, and I hope that by the end of this episode, you can draw your own conclusion. To start off, I did not even know that aliens versus demons was even an argument. When I first started posting about aliens on TikTok back in November 2024, that was like one of the first comments that I got that really stuck out to me. And it wasn't even that somebody had the question of, oh, are aliens demons? No, I had like multiple people commenting, hey, aliens are demons, like watch out who you're talking to, etc. And for me, I was honestly genuinely confused. I was like, this is the first time I've heard of anybody ever saying that aliens are demons. What is the argument here? Why do they think that? But of course, when you confront people like that straight on, they don't always have a great explanation of why they believe the things that they do. And so that's why I did a little bit of digging myself. And this is also just a PSA for anybody listening to consider, why do you believe the things that you do? What are the influences around you that are making you craft that belief? Because at least for the argument of aliens versus demons, I know that there are a couple things that are definitely influencing this belief in normal culture. And one of those things would be Hollywood. I'd say this is probably the number one reason, the number one influence why people believe that aliens are demons. And it's because of the movies that we see from Hollywood. Think about the amount of negative alien movies that are out there versus the good alien movies where they are portrayed as more benevolent. There are so many movies out there where aliens are portrayed as dangerous and hostile and nasty and killer and demonic. Evil. They're trying to take over the world. Like, I'm specifically thinking of the movie Alien versus Predator. I can't remember the story of that movie, but I do remember that the alien itself looks extremely scary and demonic. What many people don't realize is that aliens, sure, they can look more scary or they can look more evil, but a lot of aliens look extremely humanoid. There are so many aliens that are walking among us, and we don't even realize that they're alien because they look so human-like. Where are those movies? Where are movies about the Nordic aliens, about Pleiadians, about these aliens that look just like us? Or should I say that we look just like them? If you know, you know. But there is a reason why Hollywood portrays aliens in such an evil, demonic way. I believe that it is because the powers that want for us to be kept in fear around the subject of aliens. They don't want us to know that aliens exist, but if we're going to believe that they exist, they're going to want for us to be in that fear frequency, and they're going to want for us to believe that they're negative and evil. If we're kept in that fear frequency, we naturally lower our own vibration, and thus the vibration of the collective lowers. And guess what? Those actual negative and hostile aliens that are out there, because there are good and bad aliens out there, the negative ones do feed off of that fear frequency. And those negative aliens are the ones who run Hollywood. I'm sorry, I said it. They literally feed off of our fears. So it's no wonder why there's so many negative alien movies out there. It's also no wonder why there's so many just negative movies out there in general by Hollywood. I'm not saying that it's bad to enjoy negative movies such as like scary or horror movies. I'm not saying that at all. Actually, sometimes those scary movies can raise your vibration if they do put you in a state of joy. I know there's some people who genuinely really like these types of movies, and there's no problem with that whatsoever. But if you do ever find yourself watching an alien movie and it's portrayed as super negative, they're going to take over the world, they're going to eat you, blah, 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 and you're feeling a low vibration, you're feeling scared, you're feeling negative, low emotions, then stop watching the movie because you're emitting an emotion that negative aliens can actually feed off of. So I'm not saying that Hollywood movies are not accurate, because actually there is a lot of truth depicted in movies, and this is due to karmic retribution. This is because they have to put things in our faces so that they incur less karma. But I just wish for the general population that there was an equal representation of the more benevolent aliens that are out there, like aliens that look just like us who are actually assisting and helping humanity. I don't see any of those movies, and if you have any that you've seen, please feel free to message me at Coming Out Cosmic on any major social media platform. The next influence that's out there that I think is feeding even more into this belief that aliens are demons is religious programming. Many religions, including Christianity and Catholicism, talk extensively about demons, yet if you try to find an exact definition of what a demon is in the Bible, it's not there, or it's not quite clear. And this is because there is so much unknown. There's so many different interpretations in the Bible, in religion in general, a lot of things that can be taken different ways. And because there's so many different interpretations, there's often this fear of the unknown, like nobody actually truly knows what the truth is. And fear of the unknown often fosters fear in general. I think that's one of the things that human beings fear the most, is not knowing. So then when demons are mentioned in the Bible or in religious programming, a lot of people just automatically have a lot of fear around it because it's pretty unclear what demons actually are in religions. So for many religious people out there who do believe that aliens are demons, I think that their programming causes a knee-jerk reaction to not just aliens, but to esoteric things in general. If someone sees a UFO, or if somebody has an alien visitation, or if somebody experiences sleep paralysis, automatically, because it's something that's not known or fully clarified or fully understood, I believe a lot of religious programming has allowed for people to have the fear of the unknown and to automatically claim these experiences as demonic, rather than considering other possibilities like ET or interdimensional contact, because that is mentioned in the Bible, but it's not very clear either. So many different unknowns, so many different interpretations. So automatically, when somebody just says that something is demonic because they don't understand it, or because their religion says that it's a demon, or because Hollywood portrays an alien as a demon or something that's unknown as a demon, this will automatically shut down a person's curiosity so that they can feel safe, so that they can feel more in control of their experiences. But by keeping everything strange and esoteric under the label of demonic, especially when it comes to what religion tends to teach us, religion has limited the conversation and has made it much harder for people to discuss these experiences with an open mind. I mean, I can't imagine how scary it must be for somebody who is super religious, who is experiencing weird ET contact, and for them to just consider all of it demonic attacks, because it's simply not true. There's so many different benevolent ET experiences out there, but people often label it demonic because they don't understand what's actually happening to them. So when I think back to the comments that I originally got on my first couple TikTok videos about aliens are demons, I can understand why some people believe that. And again, I stem it back to Hollywood, religious programming, and I'm sure there's so many other different influences that may be out there that I'm not even mentioning. But I can tell you one thing for sure with all of these comments about aliens are demons that I would receive. I could feel their fear, their energy through their comment on my video. Fun fact, energy readers can do this. Actually, I believe that all human beings can do this. It is a potential for all human beings to be able to read energy. And I could feel that these comments were actually stemming from fear, because I could feel their low vibration. And again, Hollywood and religious programming can be culprits in enacting this fear within people. So now, to thoroughly cover this alien v demon topic, I think that we need to go into some definitions here. With the word demon, traditionally a demon is defined as a malevolent spirit or a harmful one that brings a lot of suffering, brings a lot of chaos. In Christianity, demons are often described as the fallen angels who disobey crusade against God. Now, fallen angel is important to note because this is where I think there is a lot of confusion between the words demon and alien. And we will get into that in a second. We'll also talk about why people think that demons are spirits, but I think that they're not spirits at all. I think that there's something else entirely different. And I bet you've never heard of them being explained in this way before. So now the definition of an alien. It simply means something that's not from here. That's it. Aliens are beings that originate outside of Earth, which could mean another planet, another star system, another galaxy. Some aliens are benevolent, some are negative, malevolent, and some are completely neutral. And they all have different agendas, but just because we don't understand their agendas doesn't mean that every single alien is demonic or evil. So now let's get into the discussion of what I believe a demon actually is, and then we'll tie in the fallen angels. Quite simply, I believe that a demon is a thought form. You might be wondering, what the heck is a thought form? And this is literally something that we just make up within our mind, a thought that forms within our mind. The human mind is so extremely powerful and intelligent. You know, they say mind over matter, and we can even use our mind to manifest things into our 3D reality. This is the very premise of manifestation, using our mind to create things. When our mind is influenced by what we see in Hollywood or by what we learned in religion class or by other influences, we can create them in our mind. That is all then extended into our physical reality. So let me give you an example about this, about how powerful the mind is when it comes to creating things. And this is not just a simple story about manifestation. This is a story about the manifestation of demons as a thought form. My friend used to be extremely religious. She used to go to church all the time. She was a part of different clubs within the church. She used to help and volunteer, and it was like part of her life pretty much 24/7. I am paraphrasing here, but she once told me a story about how when she was a part of this church, things started to change a little bit when all of a sudden one day the pastor started talking about demons. It was like nonstop talking about demons, people thinking about demons, people actually summoning demons with their mind, but not even realizing that they're doing it. Because when you think about something, when you focus your attention on something, you're actually creating them within your physical reality. So when the church as a collective started to really focus on demons as a topic and started to put all of their energy into demons, what do you think happened? They absolutely manifested a shit ton of demons into their lives. So all of a sudden the parishioners were like, oh my God, there's demons in my house. I need my house to be blessed. I need exorcisms. And yeah, actually what was happening was these people did actually have demons come to them in their house because they were focusing on them so much that they created them, they manifested them into their life, and they experienced them in their physical reality. Why? Because they were focusing on them, because demons are a thought form. They come from your mind. They do not come from source, like me, like you, and like extraterrestrials. And these demons started coming to all the parishioners because they were mass manifesting them. So when you get a collective group of people who think about something consistently, you can absolutely create it by mass manifestation. This is why there's so many bad, horrible stories on the news, because if people are listening to the news and they're believing the news and it's all fear-based and people are thinking about it consistently, they can actually create more of that fear and more of that chaos that is always portrayed in the news. On the flip side, I do believe this mass manifestation is a reason why the power of prayer works. When you get a bunch of people praying and intending for good things to happen for somebody or for the planet or for a situation, this intending and this thinking together with the mind does actually bring more peace and harmony to the world. And again, this is because of mass manifestation of thought. That's what I believe collective prayer is. It's a mass manifestation of your thoughts and intentions. So where demons come from the mind, they are thought forms. Aliens are not thought forms, in my opinion. Aliens come from source. They sparked off of source just like we did. Demons do not originate from source. They originate from within our mind. If you can think it, you can create it. I do want to point out that both aliens and demons are very real. I will never discredit somebody's experience with either. But what is the main difference between aliens and demons? It's where they come from. Now going into the topic of fallen angels, this is when the discussion can get a little bit interesting. Fallen angelics are mentioned in the Bible, and many believe that the fallen angelics are alien, and that because they have disconnected themselves from source, they are then demons. They are then demonic. Now, I'm not an expert on the Bible. I was raised Catholic, but I never paid attention in religion class. So I couldn't tell you too much about the fallen angelics from the religious perspective, but I'll tell you what a lot of the alien community think. There is a belief the fallen angelics are alien, yes. And what type of alien do you think they are? You guessed it. Reptilian. Reptilians are said to have disconnected themselves from source so that they could live a more fulfilled service to self way of life. Now, in general, there is a philosophy within the alien worlds that there are aliens that are more service to self and then aliens that are more service to others. Service to self would be those that are more malevolent for their own kind, for their own evolution. Service to others would be the ones who are very benevolent, who are helping out humanity and other species around. So, if the fallen angelics are actually reptilian, does this mean that they are alien? Yes, because reptilians are ETs. But does this mean that the fallen angelics are demonic? In my opinion, no, because remember, demons are thought forms. They come from our mind. Thought forms are not souls. They are not entities that originate from source. They originate within your mind and then they appear within the 3D reality, just like what happened at my friend's church. Fallen angelics do originate from source. They just disconnected. That's at least one of the perspectives about the fallen angelics. Now, if you try to argue with a religious person about this, they may not see it this way. Many religious people think that fallen angels are evil because they've disconnected from source, and therefore evil equals demonic. Many people who know about aliens, who know about the reptilians, think that they're evil, therefore they think that evil equals demonic. But I don't think that evil equals demonic. But again, this is another reason why the aliens versus demons argument is something that is such a hot topic, because people think that evil equals demonic. I think that evil is just a characteristic that us humans use to label. We try to use it to make sense of something that's not favorable. And what is not favorable? Demons and reptilians. Generally, I don't label reptilians as evil. I believe there's good and bad in all species, and definitely some of the more malevolent reptilians could be considered evil. But because there's so many people who think that evil equals demonic, I try to stay away from that word because I don't want people to think that all aliens, all ETs are demonic, because it's simply not true. So all in all, take it as it resonates. These are my beliefs. I believe that aliens are not demons. I believe that aliens come from source. I believe that demons actually come from the mind. Both are very real, but many people think that aliens are demons based on Hollywood, based on religious programming, based on this labeling of evil. And to take the argument even further, some believe that aliens are demons because they think that fallen angelics within the Bible are alien, who disconnected from source or God. These fallen angelics are said to be reptilian and possibly other more malevolent ET species. And although a disconnection from source could label you as evil in some person's perspective, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're demonic. Does that make sense? I hope this episode wasn't too much to wrap your head around. And if you take anything from it, please let it be that your thoughts create your reality through and through. Whatever you think in your mind, you can absolutely manifest into your physical reality. Your mind is so extremely powerful, so please use it for the betterment of yourself and don't use it to worry about demons. If you're ever interested to know more about the reptilians, I do have a Reptilians course that is available for you. There's 20 lessons within it, lots of different stories, lots of different ways to tell if somebody is a reptilian. I will link that in the show notes, and I'm so excited to see you guys in the next podcast episode. Bye.